Hi, my name is Keith Hall. I'm a CPA and I work exclusively with small businesses just like you. One of the questions you're going to have to answer is what form of organization are you going to operate your new business? You're going to be a corporation, an LLC, partnership, sole proprietor. Lots of choices out there, pros and cons for all of those. So let's talk about the LLC, Limited Liability Company. Now this is a relatively new form of organization, very popular these days. We've talked in other videos about being a sole proprietorship, we've talked about being a partnership. This is kind of a hybrid between those two and the corporation that we also talk about in another video. This is kind of in the middle ground. We talked about the detriment of sole proprietorships and partnerships being that the liabilities of the company are also the responsibility of the owners. The LLC helps with that. So one of the main benefits of a limited liability company, as you would guess from its name, is it can limit the liability that you could end up with personally. So if there is an accident, for example, in your business, there's an automobile accident and there's a lawsuit, operating as a limited liability company can provide some protection from your personal assets being subject to those liabilities. So this can be very, very beneficial. Now an LLC also, from a detriment standpoint, you got to jump through a few more hoops. The LLC is organized at your state's level. You actually got to file some paperwork and pay some fees with your state's Secretary of State. Basically they're called Articles of Organization. Now the good news is your state has a very good website with canned forms already posted for you. You can fill in the totals, fill in the names and the amounts, all of that stuff, and then submit those online, and now you have your LLC. So a little bit more expensive, a little bit more cumbersome because you got to file those papers. Also from a legal standpoint, that LLC has to maintain its status with the state. So you got to keep filing every year. You got to have minutes of the members of the organization. That's what the owners are called. So you got to have annual meetings. So this liability concept needs to recognize that the LLC is a separate entity from its owners. So we got to look like a company, smell like a company, have meetings like a company. So you got to make sure you maintain the paperwork. So that's one of the small detriments of a limited liability company, because you got to keep track of all that stuff. On the good side, you do have that potential limited liability and provide some protection to your assets. Now, interestingly enough, from an IRS standpoint, and I'll put this on the good side and the bad side of the LLC form of organization, and that is the IRS doesn't recognize the LLC as its own taxable entity. So what you have to do is choose how you're going to be taxed. As an LLC, if it's just you, if you're the only owner of the LLC, you can either be taxed as a sole proprietorship, or you can choose to be taxed as a corporation. Now most of us small business owners are going to choose to be taxed as a sole proprietorship. The reason that is we don't have that double taxation that corporations have, as we mentioned in the corporation video. The LLC doesn't pay tax on its own at the federal level, so that's a key benefit. If there are at least 2 members in the LLC, so now you're a multiple member LLC, it can choose to be either taxed as a partnership or as a corporation. Again, same pro and con. By choosing to be taxed as a partnership, you maintain that pass-through taxation so you're not double taxed. That's why I talked about it being kind of the hybrid of a sole proprietorship, partnership, and corporation, because you have some of the limited liability protection of a corporation, but still maintain the pass-through taxation benefit of a sole proprietorship or a partnership. So the LLC, that's why it's become very popular, can be very useful. Still got to jump through those extra hoops of paperwork with the state, maintaining those minute books, having meetings of your members. Still got to keep track of all the paperwork. It's going to be a little bit more expensive than a sole proprietorship or a partnership, but again, you get the limited liability and you still have the pass-through taxation. So the limited liability is a good option for many small businesses. So if you're trying to struggle with that liability issue, not sure how much the insurance coverage or general liability policy might protect those assets, the limited liability company is an excellent option. So look into those options. file articles of organization with your Secretary of State, and you will be a valid LLC. So I hope that was helpful. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out the links above and the links below for more detail. Also, make sure to rate, comment, and subscribe. If there's something else you would like to see, just let us know. Email us at request@mahalodotcom.